Hello.
Hello.
It's World Creativity and Innovation Week, day 4 of our Createtubeity Challenge. I'm Dr. Cyndi Burnett, Creativity and Education Specialist.
I'm Barney Saltzberg, children's author, illustrator, and songwriter, and phone muter.
And we have a very special guest today calling all the way from Dubai. So we might have some technical issues. If we do, Barney and I already have our backup song. I wonder if you can guess what that backup song is. It has to do with the name, Randah. So we have Randah Taher from Dubai, and she is a creative facilitator and a cultural designer. That's such an interesting job title. What is a cultural designer, Randah?
I help organizations design different programs that help them enhance their culture of innovation.
Excellent. And she has a wonderful website that we'll put in the link. And she has this concept called Imagine S, right?
Yes, Imagine S.
Imagine S.
Yes, and so it comes from the word imagining happiness.
Imagining happiness. I love that. And we definitely planned to all wear the same colors today. Actually, we didn't, but I'm pretty excited that, especially Barney and I never wear pink, and we came in pink today, and we happened to match Randah. So Randah is going to take us through a creative thinking challenge. And this time we're going to focus on negative things, which is actually going to be quite fun. So Randah, take it away.
I just think it's creative pinking today.
Yes, it's creative thinking. And so I wanted to tell you a little trick that anyone can have and can immediately unstick or de-stick. What's a word that when you're not sure how to come up with ideas? Unstick, exactly. And so it's by staying negative rather than being positive. I mean, all three of us are trained in ways to think creatively. So we know how to come up with ideas. And then if we do get stuck, we have some tools to help us with that. Right. But then what if you don't have the tools? Or what if you're in an environment that's a little bit too negative for you to be very inspired? Or maybe, for example, you don't have the time or don't have the space to think of something different. So the idea is, if you want to create something, let's say you want to plan for a really extraordinary important event, and it's Barney's birthday this week, right?
So it is Barney's birthday.
Exactly. So let's say we want to create the amazing birthday experience for Barney. So when we're trying to go through this tool, the first thing in order to do that is that we will flip this question, and we will say how to make sure that Barney has the worst experience ever at his birthday.
Right? I'm thinking of the guest list already.
So it includes everything: who is coming, what we're doing, who's experiencing, everything that is really the worst thing ever. And once we come up with a really long list, because it's a really important thing we want to do, then we look back at this list and we say which ones are truly amazingly horrible things that we can flip opposite. And then if we make sure we have it, then it becomes an amazing experience. So before we turn it into amazing, let's stay with the horrible. Mm-hmm. How can we create the most horrible experience ever for your birthday, Barney?
Well, I think the first thought was just a list of people I have found at this age of my life I don't really care to associate with anymore. But throughout my life, it's like, what was it? There was an old show, This Is Your Life, and they'd bring your teacher from the 5th grade. But this is your life. Remember that guy that used to bully you every day? He's invited.
Yes,
that kind of. Remember that girl that she's invited. That list.
And you have to sit with them.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
And then I'm thinking I'm a vegetarian, so like if you said we were having a beef tasting experience, would not be really happy about that.
Is beef.
No, everything is beef. Bringing your bullies.
We have bees now. Opera music, which I think would be hard for me.
Okay.
I appreciate it from an intellectual level, but I can't get into it.
Yeah.
What if everyone came in, everyone was just very serious, because you're such a playful person. So everyone just came in and was like, hello, Barney, happy birthday.
Well, it goes very intellectually with the opera, right? So we need to be that.
Yeah, I think some people like events maybe have like a temporary tattoo artist come. Mine would have a Botox artist, so everyone there had their faces muted, so no one could
Muted.
smile. That would be
Yes.
really
Yes.
awful. And loud opera music, really loud.
Exactly.
Because one of my, like when I turned 50, I went to England with my junior high school band to hear a group that we loved. They were having a reunion concert after 37 years. The idea was I didn't want to party with a million people because I feel like you can never really talk. So I really wanted a core group. So for this awful birthday, I think we should have a massive guest list.
And no one's wearing masks, right?
Yeah.
No one's been
Everyone wants to
vaccinated.
come up and cough in my face. Lovely. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And maybe even not only bring your bullies and the people that you can stand, but also your guest list will need to figure out who to bring that they cannot stand to be around and they are invited. The food, maybe it has to, maybe it arrives late and maybe it is delivered cold. Maybe it's not tasty.
And I think there's people with trays of raw garlic to give.
Yes, I love it. You brought in the sense of smell. So there is garlic, of course, involved, garlic and onion and anything that makes you, want to breathe in a different
And I'm a dog person. So again, like they have puppy parties. This would be a cat party, which I would not like. I think I'm allergic to them.
Oh, look at that. We're bringing allergy.
What if it's
allergies and onions?
Barney, what if it's a cat party and like it's in your backyard, which Barney is currently getting a pool being put. There's a pool in his backyard. So everything is just a huge mud pit where all these cats and millions of people who aren't wearing masks are in your backyard waiting for their cold piece of beef and garlic.
Sounding pretty terrible. There's got to be some more things. I think after the music's playing, on the Sonos or whatever, the speaker system, there's actually an appearance from like a civic light opera. They've brought the community opera is coming in with, and they've got a massive sound system and they want to blare this thing and it's really long and we're supposed to sit through it.
Quietly. You have to sit through it quietly and listen, contemplate.
Oh, put me in front. Yeah, I was at a school. I had a book called Where Wears My Underwear, which was a book and a song. And the school put me in an underwear parade. And I had to stand in front of a marching band and walk through the whole backyard of the school while they all watched with the marching band playing behind me. So I think if I had to walk with the Civic Light Opera group parading around.
Barney, what if at your birthday party, instead of, how birthday parties they do where they talk about all the great things you accomplished in your life, they talked about all your failures. So it's like, remember that book you worked on for 3 years?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, when you toast someone, I think there should be a roast, like all the terrible things people think about me.
Yes.
That would be great.
And they would say it not jokingly and not in a way that they are, just laughing out with you. They're like, seriously, this is, you should check in yourself or you should,
Yeah, I think also my childhood therapist would come revealing everything about me, everyone. Yeah.
So everything comes out.
And how do you get a bag of favors? I think there's got to be some negative things in those favors, like all the bad pictures of me ever taken. From every angle. Here's a bag of these for you to take home.
So things that you are seeing in the party, things that people see, things that people are smelling, things that people are experiencing. All of these elements you pulled out into this whole horrific experience. And so if we take those, which ones would be top 2 or top 3 worst nightmare for you? Which ones of the ones that we mentioned or others that you...
Well, I think inviting everyone that I have disassociated with at this point in my life would not be fun.
That would be the top list.
Yeah, I could deal with garlic and beef, but that would be... I don't have to talk to garlic or beef, but these people would be right there.
Yes, exactly.
That nightmare date. So flipping that, the obvious is you don't invite those people,
Yes.
or
And
the converse is you invite your favorite people.
exactly. You become a little bit more selective. You become, you really know what it means. Like if you just have one person who will ruin everything for you because, you know, you feel obliged to invite this person. And the more advanced the ideas we come up with in a negative way, the more really powerful the way when you flip it, it becomes stronger.
I think one of the interesting things to flip is the idea of the cats being there, that you do it at a dog park and everyone brings their dogs, that it's sort of like this dog, you know, you're there with everyone and their dogs. It would just be playful.
Yeah. So those would be your A-list.
Go ahead.
Only people with dogs are invited to come.
Well, my best friend doesn't have one at the moment, so I wouldn't really like this. But
your best friend can borrow a dog.
But I think the opposite of it is I like small parties. You know, I like, you know, when my kids were little, I used to have birthday breakfasts every year where I would invite my friends for breakfast on Sunday, and they had to bring their favorite breakfast food. And we had a big table with a lot of breakfast cereal, and there were kids, and it was fun. But even that, I find when there's so many people, I can't really focus on having a conversation with anyone, and it's always a lot of work. So I think the opposite of what we've been planning for this, planning the worst possible party, which I'm already thinking is a book title. The opposite would be to have a small, intimate group.
Yeah. We also forgot an important element, which is the audience. How can you make it a worse experience for them? Not being welcomed, not feeling connected, you know, being tired the entire time, making them stand the whole time, or, you know, eat cold beef and smell garlic, right?
Well,
so how else would you make it a really horrible experience for them?
Well, I have this PowerPoint of my life year by year.
With all the pictures.
It's a good 2 hours. And I think I'm going to show that on a big screen.
And make them wait for several hours, you know, 3 or 4 hours standing there without food in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And no alcohol.
We're gonna wait. Actually, my birthday's in April, but let's wait till it's the rainy season, and we're gonna have it outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
What else? What's one more thing or a couple more things you can really make it? Think of the bad experiences you had attending events. What made them really bad, other than meeting people you don't like?
Getting caught in the corner with someone that I have nothing to say to, that just wants that kind of a thing.
Yeah. Or what about like I've been to some events where like people start fights, like they start swearing at each other, or they get into fights, and you're just like, get me out of here. Drama.
Okay.
Wow, I missed that one. That would be hard. Yeah, I think just, you know, those conversations that you just are thinking in your head, when is this going to end?
Yes.
And then
yes,
there was that time I fell into the tomb in Egypt, and then I have to go, but then that kind of a thing, and you have to go to the bathroom.
Exactly, and like wait, the good stuff is coming. Wait, let me tell you first. Yeah, so being in this loophole of never-ending story. So one thing I wanted to just mention. So that's the idea. You can do it for an event. You can do it for a program, like how to make sure this is the worst program ever. How to make sure this is a really bad class that you are teaching. But then there is a place where this doesn't work well, and I've tried it, unfortunately, and so I want to share my experience. It doesn't work when what you're flipping goes directly against your own values. So it doesn't work if you had to flip it and make sure that a sick patient remains sick for a long time or becomes really sick, right? When you're trying to flip, like, how can you make sure that this is a horrible experience for patient? People don't flow with that, right? Or when you are working with vulnerable people, or talking about vulnerable people, or poverty, or something that is really against your human nature. Like you want to solve, and then suddenly, for an ideation purposes, they're asking you to be really, the worst kind of.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good.
So it doesn't work. It doesn't.
So
I
where's
tried
the
it.
optimum place to use this?
Anywhere else when you feel stuck, and especially when you are talking with people who are, they are negative, and we have a lot of people, especially the one that we want to invite to your birthday. They are very negative, and they always see the flaw in something, and they always see, oh, this doesn't work, or this is too far. So use that energy intentionally and say how to make sure that it really doesn't work, and then come up with ideas, and people will like what we just did. They will laugh their head out, and they will talk about all these ideas, and then an insight will come up.
You know what else?
There's more flow when you go this way rather than tell me what the perfect part is, because often my wife will say, well, what do you want to do? And that's hard for me to sometimes think of.
Yes.
So if I could give her this, would be easier for me to vamp with and riff on, and then maybe once you've got that list, start flipping. You were gonna
exactly. So some people say, what do you don't want to do, right? But this is an extra version. Well, how do you make sure that it is a really horrible thing that we have to go through? And then by horrible, anything. It's raining when you don't like it rain. We are late when you don't like to be late. Everything. And then you make sure everything is like, we have to find the weather, the timing, the people, everything. And then you can plan it a little bit more cohesive. Sorry, Cyndi, you were saying something.
No, I was actually thinking about Barney. So Barney, we're his family focus group, the Burnetts. And so when he has a new story, he sends it over to us, and sometimes he gets stuck on the ending. So I wonder, Barney, if it would be interesting for you to try this as a technique to say, when you sort of get stuck in the book, it's like, what's the worst thing that can happen to this character right now? Or what's the worst way that this book could go? And then to swap it out. It would be interesting to try that out.
Well, the other flip on that is like, I had a middle grade that I've been working on for a long time. And I had a friend of mine who's a very successful middle grade writer read it. And she said, these two characters who are nemesis of each other, one of them, they have this handball game they're playing, has to break their arm. Like, I didn't want to put that negative component in it, and I forced myself to do it. And the story became much richer by having that element of tragedy in it.
Yes.
So sometimes, because I have a tendency to be more like down the middle, not so extreme. And I think what this is requiring is more of an extreme,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it connects with people because they see these things, and they see the bad things that happen, whether it's around them directly or they watch the news, they read books, and they see that, it cannot be happy ending all the time. So I like to use that. I am a positive person in general, but I found that when you use this intentionally, you become really like a really strong ideator. So yeah.
Fun. Well, Randah, thank you so much for taking time out. I know it's evening there. Thank you so much for taking time out to be with Barney and I today. And thank you for joining us. If you're interested in World Creativity and Innovation Week, check out their website at wciw.org. Tomorrow we launch day 5 of the Creativity Challenge.
7.
Tune in to see if we're wearing the same color.
Yes. Day 5 with Yeshim Kunther. And we will need some tinfoil for tomorrow because we're going to be doing some sculpting with the tinfoil. So same time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Randah, thanks again, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Cyndi. Thank you, Barney.